Hey folks, Father Sampatik from CGVirus here. Today we're going to see an update for Blender Compositor Discash add-on. So what does this add-on do is basically you can discash your Compositor preview and you can see it through Blender Video Sequencer Editor. So it's a Compositor and VSC pipeline together. So let's see the updates, and we're going to see a full demo on it and the workflow. So let's get started. First, let's download the add-on. The link will be in the description. Go to the releases and download this zip. Okay, I've already downloaded it, so let's go here. Here it is. Now let's go to Blender. We are using Blender 3 here, Blender 3 beta, but it will work with 2.9 as well. Everything is same here. So let's go to Edit, Preference, go to the add-on section. If you have a previous version of it, just remove it, okay, and then install the new add-on here, okay, the zip, and let's enable it, and you will see these two new thing here. So let's see what it does. First thing is this is a Blender template. When you have installed the add-on, it has automatically been installed in your add-on section, okay, in your computer, and this is the Blender template name. So let's see. If I go to the file now, we will find this thing, import, and this is the import Compositor VSC pipeline template. What it does is basically it will import a full template for you, and this is the name comp VSC. All right, you can see here comp VSC. This is the Blender template name, and this is the Blender file. Okay, so yeah. So it is now already installed and everything is good to go. Alright, if you want to change this layout, suppose this layout you don't like this layout, you need to change it. So how can you do it? Okay, let's close it, and let's go to our add-on, and let's extract it here, and you will find this template here. Okay, so what we can do is basically we can open it with Blender. Let's go here. Let's open it. Okay, so this is the template. So suppose we want to create something else here, suppose outliner or something like that. Okay, all right, and we also want to change the comvsc name, something like comvsc my. It is not needed, but if you want to, you can do it. Okay, my. So it is your custom template. All right, so what we can do is basically Ctrl+Shift+S, and I'm going to name it something like custom template or something, custom, and let's save it. So let's close Blender now, and let's go to Blender again, and now if I go to Edit, Preference, and let's go to the Discash here, you'll find this Discash. Okay, so this is the Blender template. This is in your config. So I want to change it. I want to change it to this custom blend. Okay, let's use that, and remember this was my something. So now from now on, if you go to the file, import, and this one, it will import your outline. There is your name and everything. Okay, you can do it like that, but for now we're just going to use default. So I'm going to reset to default and reset to default. Let's save it, and let's close Blender. We don't need it, and now let's get started with the file. Okay, done. So now it is the default one. Alright, so now let's get started with the thing. Alright, so first let's do a very basic green screen project. So let's go to file and import Compositor VSC pipeline template. Here we go. Alright, now let's save it. Ctrl+Shift+S. I'm going to save it somewhere. Let's go to desktop. I'm going to name it green screen here, and let's name it green. Okay, so I'm going to import some image here. Our favorite Tom. Here he is. So Tom, let's import everything here. There you go. Let's open an image. There you go. And if you want to see it, press Ctrl Shift. All the keyboard shortcuts is here, so yeah, there we go. Ctrl Shift, and let's go to the viewer node 001. There we go. Okay, so let's connect it with here and go to the viewer. Okay, so this one is VSC, this one is viewer node. All right, and we're using a resolution of 1920 and 1080 and 50% resolution. If you want to see it in 100%, you can see it like that, but we're going to use 50% here to optimize our viewport. Okay, and we're using OpenCL, edit low, render high. These are the setups. 24 FPS. All right, so let's get started. First thing first is basically we're going to create a key here. So let's go for a key, and I'm going to select this key here. Okay, and let's do it like this, somewhere here. Okay, cool. So now I want to do some masking. So let's go to mask, and let's get a new mask. I'm going to name it garbage, and let's expand it a little bit. Press N, mask. Okay, so press Ctrl and left click. There you go. And let's go for Ctrl left click. Actually, let's do it from here and here. There we go. Let's go for Ctrl left click and press Alt C to connect it. Okay, so to see it, what we are going to do is basically we're going for a mask, and it will be garbage, and it should be fixed size because we're using a scaling method, and for that we need to create a fixed size 1920 by 1080. That is your resolution, 1920 1080. Okay, and other things are fine. So let's connect it to the mask here. There we go, garbage, and let's inverse it. There we go. Okay, press N, and here is your mask. Alright, something like this. We can create an animation as well, but I don't know, it's basic garbage, so no problem. Alright, there we go. Okay, to see it in preview, what we can do is basically let's go here, press P to preview. By the way, it is a 490 frame, so let's change it to 490. Okay, or you can do it here as well. So 490, and let's preview some region here. So press P to create a preview region, and you will see the buttons here. This is called render cache, this is called preview cache, this is clear cache, and this is delete cache. Okay, so if I go to the render cache, it will create a render cache for you, and where it will save in your project file, that is in our desktop green screen project. You can see this is the green blend, and this is the comp cache temp. Okay, so this is the temp file where it will be created. All right, so now if I play this, it will preview the cache here. Okay, preview the cache here. It is previewing in 24 FPS. If you have 30 FPS, suppose 30, preview the cache, it will go for 30 FPS. Alright, there we go. So now if we want to clear the cache, this is called clear cache, it will clear the cache for you, and if I press space, it will play. Okay, you can also again play the cache here, and you can clear the cache. Okay, and this is called the delete cache. So what it does is basically, if we go here, you can see if I press delete cache, it will delete the cache, and it will confirm you cache deleted. Okay, there we go. So that's how you can create your cache. So now if I want to play, it will say no cache to preview here. If I say this, no cache to clear, because we don't have any cache, so you need to create the cache again and it will play it for you. Simple. Okay, so that's how we can create it. All right, so now let's mix it a little bit. So I'm going for a mix, and let's do it at top, and this will be our bottom somewhere here, and let's go for alpha. Let's get it here. Okay, now let's go to view, and it is okay. All right, so again, if you want to preview it, you can preview it, you can play it, whatever you want to. All right, so let's clear the cache. Press Alt P to clear the preview as well. So now let's render it. How to render it? Okay, we have 490 frame and 30 fps, and let's go for output. So let's go to output, and I'm going to output it here somewhere. Let's name it green test. If you want to output PNG, you can output it like that or whatever, but if you want to output it in FFmpeg, you can do it like that. Encoding, matroshka, and everything is there. So what we can do now is basically, previously we have to use this view and sequence render animation. Some folks asked about how about automatically go to 100%, because we often forget about it. So yeah, you can go to render and render compositor VSE pipeline. Okay, select it, and it will render at 100% automatically at 30 fps. And let's see. And here it is, the MKV. Okay, here we go. All right, now we're going to see 3D one, complicated one. So let's see. For 3D, we're using this project we did earlier. So we got some question from our community, and we're going to try to answer those questions as well here. So it will be a bit lengthy, and we will try to make it as much detail as we can. So let's get started. Alright, so let's go with 3D. So lots of our folks asked about a full 3D pipeline demo. So I think this is a good time to demo it. So what you can see here is basically it's a clean plate, a green clean plate with a very simple plane, and there are some lights. Yeah, there are some lights, basic 3D objects and basic 3D thing. Okay, and everything. So first thing I want to do is basically show you guys how to do this plane thing here. Okay, so let's go to Shift A, Mesh, and Plane, and let's go to Solid View here. Toggle straight off. Okay, so our plane, this clean plane, this one was 1920 by 1080. So what we can do is basically press N, go to the item and dimension. So I'm going for 1920 and 1080, mainly 1080. There we go. Now let's scale it down like 0.1, 0.01, yeah, something like that. So now it is in shape. So let's go to 3D. Yeah, it is in shape. So let's go to Shift and R and 90 and Shift G, and here we go. Okay, so now what we can do is basically we can go to a new slot. Okay, new, and I'm going to image texture, and I'm going to open, and I'm going to use the clean plate here. Okay, open image, and this is the 490 and stuff. So if I go to the Control Shift, you can see that it is already in thing. So let's check auto refresh to frame change. Okay, this will do the job. Okay, So now this is the principled BSTF. What we can do here is basically we're going to, let's maximize it a little bit. Yeah, we're going to turn off specular 0, roughness 0, shinting 0. Everything should be 0. We don't need them. And let's go to inject the color here and go to the alpha and just set this alpha here. Okay, now what we can do is basically, let's go here in the material shadow. Let's go to the blend mode and we're going to use alpha hashed now. Okay, Eevee has become really powerful these days, so I'm going to use alpha hash, and we're going to use shadow mode as alpha hashed as well. Okay, so this was the thing. Okay, so you can see that we can have these shadow here with alpha hashed. Okay, there we go. So that's how we did it. And then let's go to edit mode, and we have cut it through, so press Ctrl R to cut it, and let's cut it through here because these are garbage, we don't need them. There you go. And then Ctrl R to cut it another loop here. Okay, so we cut it through here. Press GG to expand it a little bit. Press Ctrl R to cut it through here. Okay, and what we did is basically press Ctrl R to expand it a little bit here. Okay, then what we did is basically we just select all these vertices and we deleted all of them. It is not needed. We are doing it for cleanup. Okay, cleanup situation. So here we go. Delete all the vertices here. Let's delete these vertices, we don't need them. Okay, and we also cut these vertices as well. Sorry, yeah, these vertices as well. And then what we did is basically simple trick to expand it a little bit. Press E to expand it a little bit. There you go. Just expand it. So that's how we did it. Okay, so yeah, exactly same. All right, so we used alpha hashed everywhere. Okay, alpha hashed. And now let's talk about the Eevee section here. What we did here is basically, I'm explaining it because some folks asked about it for a long period of time. So yeah, so this is for them. All right, so in Eevee we used render of 10, viewport 10, viewport denoise on, ambient occlusion on, screen space reflection on, depth of field was on, and in view transform we used standard because I don't want to use filmic here. I want to use standard because we have textures and everything. And other things were actually, that's all, nothing else. And there is a light as well. Okay, every light has a property, and in light property we have included shadow and contact shadow. Okay, everyone has this one. And let's talk about the contact shadow. Some people asked about it as well, so yeah, let's see the contact shadow. So back in those days, Eevee contact shadow was not that great, but right now today it is super cool, super great, super crispy, and super cool. So in contact shadow, what we are using in the light property, we have a background light here. You can see it's a background light, backlit. And what we are doing here is basically shadow. We are manipulating the distance here. Okay, contact shadow distance. Okay, that's how you can create your illusion here. Okay, I'm using 17.3, which was really good. And our radius was 4.57. The radius will determine how soft your shadow will be, so we're using this. And other things are actually pretty much basic, and everything is basic here. So yeah, all right. Now what else? Another thing is basically we're using by default image should come with linear. Okay, but we're using closest. Okay, closest is the no interpolation, simple closest texel. So this is much more better for this kind of ops. Okay, it will retain the sharpness. Otherwise, what we'll do is basically it will blur image a little bit. Okay, so just use closest. Here we are also using closest. Okay, it was simple image from plain Addon. All right. So what else? I think that is all. That is all. All right. Now let's talk about Viewer. Some people asked about it as well. So we will need Viewer for composition, compositing and these things. So you can see that we have some collection. So what we did is basically we selected some objects. We press M and go to the new collection and create a collection from there. Okay. So we have lights here. Light. We have midground. This one is the midground. This is the BG. Okay. And this one is FG. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to create a new layer now. Let's name it BG. For BG, we will need light. We don't need midground, so press E or just go to view layer, exclude, disable from view layer, press E. Okay. Press E. Disable it. We don't need. We need BG. We don't need FG. So press E to disable it from this view layer. Okay. So this view layer has everything. So this is the beauty pass and this is the BG. Okay. Now let's create another one. We're going to create another one that is called mid. Okay. In mid, we will need light. We will need midground. We don't need BG. So press E, and we don't need FG. Okay. So this is the midground. Okay. Let's create another one. This will be our FG, that is foreground. We will need light. We don't need midground. Press E. We don't need BG, and everything is fine. So now you can see only the HDR and the foreground. Now let's go to the file film here, and let's enable transparent, and it will be transparent. Okay. I'm going to save it. Stretch to S3. Okay. So now everything is ready to go, and we have everything set up. So let's go to compositing. Before going to compositing, I almost forgot about one thing. When we were doing the scaling, you should use Ctrl A and scale to apply the scaling here. Otherwise, the Eevee can become distorted. So don't forget about it. Ctrl A and scale. Okay. It will scale it down to something like 1. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let's go for compositing. Let's go to compositing. Actually, let's not go there. Let's go to file. Import Compositor VSC pipeline template. Here we go. So we have comp 1 and there is a dummy one. No need to touch it. So yeah, 1980, 1080, that is all fine. Let's go for 30 fps. Yeah, and it should be something. So let's see. Shift A, and we're going for a render layer now. Let's go for render layer. And we're going to select scene from here, and this is our view layer. Okay, if you want to see it, you can see it from viewer note. There we go. All right, so everything is here, and we're seeing it. So now let's merge everything with everything. So let's connect. Let's see. All right, first go to render layer and go for BG. Okay, so this will be BG, and let's go to Shift D, and after BG we should use the midground, and let's mix them. Let's go to mix, and I'm going to connect it with here. Let's go for scale. Let's connect it with the scale. There we go. Okay, and this will be our bottom one, and this will be our top one, and let's connect alpha here. Okay, I think it should be reversed. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. All right, so number 1 done. Now let's create another mix node. Let's connect it here, and let's create another render layer, and this will be our foreground. Okay, and let's go for this. Let's go for alpha. Let me see. Yeah, it should be this one should be in top, and alpha should be here. Okay, so let's cache it with 490. There we go, and let's see it here. There we go. All right, so done. Everything is done. So save it. Okay, let's G. There we go. We don't need these Shift H. Okay, there we go. So now let's do some basic color correction here. Let's see what we can do. Let's go for color correction. There we go. Ooh, no, not color correction, color grade. Color. Let me see. Color balance. Yeah. And from this, I think we need. Let me see. Okay, let's do some basic, something like a red, and something like a greenish tone, Kodak style, and let's do some tint, just to show the demo. There we go. Something like that. Okay, it will do the job. Alright, and to preview it, what we can do is basically press P here somewhere, and we can just preview it. There we go, and let's see the preview. And here is the preview. Okay, it's kind of like this, and there we go. Alright, now how to render it? Basically same, just clear the cache and go to frame and everything. Check a name here. So let's go to desktop, and I'm going to name it stage, and let's go for FFmpeg with something, encoding, and let's press Alt P, and let's go to render and just render it. Okay, as usual, and it will start rendering. Okay, there we go, with 100%. So that's it. I'm Father Sampati from Virus, and we're going to spend this time. Bye bye.